Hi all, welcome back to Enchanting English. Today we are going to learn question tag, and this lesson is going to help all the students of high school and higher secondary, and also those who are going to appear for any competitive examinations. So it's a very important topic. Come, let's go into the topic now. Let us look at this sentence. Priya is a dancer. So I have made a statement here. Priya is a dancer. Now, you can make a question, a very short question at the end of the statement, and that is known as question tag. Normally we use it in speech rather than in writing. And here we make use of question tag in order to know the listener's response to your statement. So when I say Priya is a dancer, I want the listener to agree with me. So I'll say, isn't she? And this part of the sentence is called question tag. So question tag is a very short question. It consists of just two words. You can see here, one is the auxiliary verb and the other one is the pronoun. So if you have an auxiliary verb and a pronoun, you can make question tag. Let us now look at another sentence. Priya dances well. How do you make question tag for this? Here you have a main verb which is dances, and the tag for this is not like what you have written here. The answer is doesn't she. So let us learn the structure of question tag. You know, it is made using an auxiliary verb and a pronoun. The pronoun that you used here, she, is based on the subject that you get here. Priya is the subject here, and you know that the pronoun that you have to use for Priya is she. In case you get Prem here, Prem is a dancer, you will write he there. Isn't he? So depending on the subject, you choose the correct pronoun. And now the same way here, pronoun is the same. I use the same subject. So pronoun is the same. Another thing, when you look at this sentence, you understand, isn't she, right? So what did you use here? You have made use of the auxiliary, but in the negative form. So this is rule number 1 that you have to follow when you do question tag. When you get a positive statement, your tag should be negative. And when you get a negative tag, your tag would be positive. So here, instead of this sentence, Priya is a dancer, if I use is not, Priya is not a dancer, Priya is not a dancer, what will be your tag then? This is a negative sentence and it will take a positive tag. It means you have to make positive tag here. So your answer will be, is she. So negative sentence takes positive tag. So remember, the first rule is this. When you get a positive statement, your tag is negative, and when you get a negative statement, your tag is positive. Now, you have used the same auxiliary here. But when you come to this particular sentence, dances, you don't have an auxiliary verb here. You have only main verb here. Dances. There is no auxiliary. And children, in order to make auxiliary verb, you require, in order to make question tag, you require an auxiliary verb. So you should know what are the auxiliary verbs. So quickly recall what you have learned about auxiliary verbs. You have primary auxiliaries. They are is, am, are, was, were, then has, have, had, do, does, did. At the same time, you have modal auxiliaries. What are modal auxiliaries? Can, could, will, would, shall, should, may, might, must, then used to, ought to, need and dare. Okay. So, if you have any of these auxiliary verb in the given sentence, you can use the same auxiliary verb to make question tag. Okay. In case you don't have any of these auxiliary verbs, then you have to make an auxiliary verb. So, the sentence that I have given here is such a sentence where there is no auxiliary verb. You have only a main verb here. What is this? This is dances. It is main verb. So, what's your task now? You have to make an auxiliary verb. Okay, look at the verb here. Dances. How do you get dances? Dance. If you split it, you get das plus dance. Das plus dance is dances. So remember, when you add s or es, the auxiliary verb hidden in the verb is das. Okay. So you understand that there is an auxiliary verb hidden there, that is das. And the sentence is positive, so your tag is negative. So what's the answer that you get here? It is doesn't. Doesn't she? Okay. This is a positive statement, so it takes a negative tag. Okay. So this is a basic thing that you have to remember. So I gave you first one with an auxiliary verb and the second one without an auxiliary verb. So if you have auxiliary, your task is quite easy. You have to use the same auxiliary. If you don't have an auxiliary, you have to frame an auxiliary verb from that. Okay. So Priya dances well, you get doesn't she. Now, let me change the subject alone. Instead of Priya, I am going to use they. Okay. They dance well. They dance well. Right. Now in this sentence, what's the verb? Dance is the verb. Right. And what's your subject? They. This is already a pronoun. So you can use the same pronoun here. And now when you look at the verb, it is dance. Dance. How do you split dance? See, how did I split dances here? Das plus dance. This is the root form of the verb without adding s. So when you split it, you get do plus dance. Okay. Do plus dance is equal to dance without the s form. Okay. So dance. So the hidden auxiliary here is do. So how do you write the answer? It's a positive statement. So it must take negative. So how do you write? Does. How do you write? Do. It is do here. So you get don't they. Positive sentence takes a negative tag. Don't they. Okay. So this is don't they here. In case you get past tense, what will you do? Instead of this dance, if I get danced here, what's the past tense form of dance? It's danced. So this ed tells you that this is past tense form. Okay. So how do you write then? When you split it, you will get did. Okay. So for a past tense verb in past tense, you will get did. So how do you write the answer here? Didn't they. Didn't they. Okay. Right. So this is quite easy now, children. If you have an auxiliary, use the same auxiliary. If you don't have an auxiliary, your answer is going to be any one of these three auxiliary verbs. What are they? They are do, does and did. Okay. That is based on the verb given here, the tense. You have to look at the tense. Present tense with s will take does. Present tense without s will take do. And past tense will take did. Okay. Now children, we have certain sentences where we use has, have and had. Okay. And these kinds of sentences are sometimes quite confusing. So I'll give you some clues how to find out the correct question tag for sentences using has, have and had. Okay. Right. So let us look at some sentences here. Let me use the same subject. Priya has danced well. Okay. Priya has danced well. Right. So in order to write the question tag for this, what should you do first? Identify the verb. Okay. The whole verb is has danced. Right. And here what is the auxiliary? has is the auxiliary verb. You know that this is a main verb, right? This is a main verb. We need only auxiliary for making question tag. Okay. So you understood has is the auxiliary and here the same subject. So what should you write here? Auxiliary verb is has. It's a positive sentence. So the tag should be negative. So what do? You add hasn't. Now subject is Priya. So hasn't she. Now children, another thing that you have to remember is never use the expanded form in question tag. Never use the expanded form. What do you mean by expanded form? If I write has not, this is the expanded form. I contract it and I make it hasn't, N apostrophe T. So always in question tag we must use only contracted form. Okay. So hasn't she. We don't say has not she. We say hasn't she. Okay. Right. So positive sentence has taken negative tag. Okay. Now let me give you another sentence. Let me use the same subject. Priya has a big house. Now here, Priya has a big house. Look at this sentence. Now, Priya is the subject here, you understood. And what's the verb here? It is has. Okay, has is the verb here. Okay, now it is not like the previous sentence that you have seen. Here has and then it is followed by a main verb. But when you look here, Priya has a big house. Okay, a big house is another part of the sentence. And for verb you have only one word which is has. It is not followed by another main verb. So what do you mean by this? Here has is used as main verb. It functions as main verb. Okay, right. So you cannot take this has as auxiliary verb for framing your question tag because here has is not used as auxiliary verb. So you have to use the same rule I taught you a while before. When you don't have an auxiliary verb, what should you do? You should split the main verb and you should get either does, do or did. Okay. The same rule you have to apply here too. Okay. So has is, of course you know that has is present singular form. So when you split this verb you will get does plus have. Okay. Right. So the answer for this is does, doesn't, she. Doesn't she. Remember, for this sentence if you write hasn't she, you are absolutely wrong. Okay. It is not hasn't she because has is not the auxiliary here. Okay. Has is the main verb here. So how do you split has? Does plus have. Okay. So the hidden auxiliary is does. The answer is doesn't. Doesn't she. Okay. Right. I hope this is clear. Let me give you it's past tense form. Instead of having, Priya had, if I give you past tense form, Priya had a big house. The same sentence let me make use of. Priya had a big house. What will you write here? What's the verb? The verb here is had. Right? Had. Only had. You don't have another verb after that. So, it is used as main verb. Right? Now, when you split this, what do you get? It is past tense form, you know that. So, what do you make use of? Did, right? So, how do you write it? Didn't she. Didn't she. Okay. So, here had is used as main verb and when you split the main verb, you will get did plus have. Okay. Right. So, this is how you make question tag. When you have has and have and had as auxiliary or main verb, this is auxiliary, this is main verb. Okay, right. Same thing if you get the plural subject here, they. For example, they, your verb will be have. They have a big house. So, in this case, what will be your answer? They have a big house. What will you get? Do. It's quite clear. They is plural form, right? So, with plural subject, you always get do only in the present tense form, right? So, what do you get here? Don't they. Okay. So, if your sentence is something like this, you will get don't they. Okay. Right. So, you have to be very careful when you have these three verbs in your sentence. Okay. Has, have and had. Okay. you have to check whether it is used as main verb or used as auxiliary verb. If it is used as auxiliary verb, the same auxiliary. If it is used as main verb like these examples, you have to split and get any one of these, meaning do, does or did. Okay, right. I think it has become very easy for you. Now children, let us learn some sentences where we have negative words, okay, and how to frame question tag for these kinds of sentences, right. So sentences using negative words. So how do you decide a sentence is positive or negative? You look for words like no or not, right. Priya is not a dancer, negative sentence, you understood. So you will write a positive tag for that. Now, in addition to no and not, you have some more words which are negative in meaning. So words like you can say hardly, hardly. Then you have scarcely, okay, rarely, seldom, never, okay. Then you have few, little, etc. Okay, right. These words are negative words. So if you have these words in your sentence, your tag obviously must be positive. Okay, right. So let me give you one sentence using any of these words given here. My grandmother never drinks milk. Right. My grandmother never drinks milk. You have never here. Okay. So you understand it is a negative word. And instead of this, my grandmother rarely. If I use even rarely here, it's a negative word. So you should understand that it's a negative sentence and your tag should be positive. So how do you write? What's a verb here? Drinks. So S is added. You understood? S is added. So when you don't have an auxiliary verb here, what should you do? Your answer is either do, does or did. Right? So S is added. So you'll get does. So what's the answer here that you get? It's a negative sentence. It will take positive tag. Right? So what do you write? Does she. Does she. You cannot write doesn't she because the sentence is negative. Okay. So it takes a positive tag. Does she. Similarly, I'll give you another sentence using, let's take few. Okay. Right. Few students are present. Few students are present. Okay, right. Now, few students, this is a subject you understood. For students, what is the pronoun that you use? You use they, right? Okay. And what is the verb that you have here? Are. And are is an auxiliary verb. Okay. So, what will you write? What's the question tag that you write here? The question tag that you write here, this is negative because few is used here. It's negative, so your tag should be positive, right? So how do you write? Are they? Are they? You can't write aren't they, okay? Because this is a negative sentence and it should take a positive tag. If you write aren't they, you are wrong. Okay, right. Likewise, so I have taken just two here. Likewise, any of these words if you use here, if you find here, obviously you must understand that your sentence is a negative sentence and your tag should be positive. Okay, right. I hope this is clear. So this is a very important point that you have to remember when you do question tag. Now children, you will have some challenging type of question tags. Challenging type of sentences where you find subject and verb do not agree. Okay, right. So I have written some words like this: each, every, none, nobody, someone, somebody, something, etc. Okay. So when you have these words in the sentence, you must understand that these words will take they as pronoun. they as pronoun. Okay, right. To elaborate, let me give you a sentence, an example. So let me take someone for example. Someone has taken my purse. Someone has taken my purse. Right. Now, how do you frame a tag for this statement? Now, let's look at again. Has taken is a complete verb and has is the auxiliary verb here. Now, what is the speciality of this sentence? A sentence with someone. I have given you a number of words here, right? And someone is one word, right? Which is here in this list. And it should take they. I told you these words will take the pronoun they. Okay? So, you understand that someone should take they. Now, if you go with the rule that you have learned, has is the auxiliary verb here. So, what do you write? You will normally write has. Then, it's a positive statement. So, it will take a negative tag. So, what do you do here? You add int, hasn't, right? And then, someone will take they. Someone will take they. That's what is given here. So, what will you write here? Hasn't they. Right? Now, if you go with this rule, you are grammatically wrong. Okay? What's a mistake here? You can never write hasn't they. Because has is singular, they is plural. Right? So, there is no agreement. This is singular, this is plural. So, you cannot write a grammatically correct sentence using this. Okay? This is singular, this is plural. So, some change is to be done. What change will you do? They is the pronoun, that is a fixed pronoun. You cannot change it. So, what should you do here? You should change the verb, right? This is plural pronoun, you understood. So, what should you do? You have to make this verb plural form. What's the plural form of has? Have. That's quite clear. So, instead of writing have, hasn't, you will write haven't they. Haven't they. Okay? So, remember, you didn't make use of has here. So, don't get confused whenever you get sentences using these words. This is the rule. Haven't they. Got it? So, similarly, any word that you take from this list will follow the same rule. Okay? You have to convert your verb into the plural form because the pronoun that you get is plural. So, your verb should be plural. Okay? I hope you got it. Right? Now, children, let us learn some sentences where you have let's. Okay? Right. So, any sentence that begins with let's have a fixed tag. Okay? Right. That's what we are going to learn. Any sentence that begins with let's or let us, this is the expanded form, will take shall we. Right? So, let me give you an example. Let us go for a party. Right? Yeah. So, you needn't bother here whether your sentence is positive or negative because here is a sentence that begins with let's. So, it has got a fixed tag. What's a tag? Shall we. You have to just write shall we. That's all. Okay? Right. So, this is quite easy. Now, any sentence with this can be written using the same tag I told you. Now, the next important thing is about sentences which convey a request, an order, etc. Meaning imperative sentences. Okay. So, when you get imperative sentences, you follow another fixed tag for that. You have, for example, this is about imperative sentences. Okay. What do you mean by imperative sentences? Sentences where you don't have a subject. Okay. So, if I tell you, write fast. Okay. Write fast. Okay. The tag that I give you for this can be will you write fast or want you. Okay. Will you or want you. Okay. Right. Now, I will give you another sentence. quiet. Keep quiet. Right. Now, when I say keep quiet, I show that I'm annoyed. Okay. Right. So, when you say keep quiet, the speaker conveys the annoyance. So, in this case, in order to show your impatience or annoyance, you can use can't you. Okay. Right. So, you can use can't you here. Okay. Right. So, when your sentence conveys annoyance or impatience, you can go with can't you. Okay. Or else you can use will you or won't you. Okay. Right. I hope this is clear. Will you normally we use for urgent request. Okay. Right. This is for a normal request. Okay. Right. So these are the very important rules that you must follow while framing question tag. And I have covered almost everything now, all the rules pertaining to question tag. I hope you all understood well. Thank you for watching. Keep practicing at home too to score more. Thank you.